Okay, so there's been a lot of discussion and a lot of reviews that I've seen online and on several other platforms talking about the Z2 Force's battery life. It sucks, or the battery's smaller. So if you guys don't know, the first generation of this phone had a 3,500 milliamp an hour battery. This one only has a 2,700, right? Or right about. So I decided to do a whole lot of testing. I gave it 4 different tests. We gave it a 0 to 100% charge to figure out if this phone could charge fast enough to make the shorter battery life worth it. We also put it through its paces in a graphically intense, like I put this thing, it was hot, right? I kept this thing under pressure and we put it through as long as it could last. I also put it through a YouTube test to determine how long it could play video for, streaming data over the radio. And we also gave it a random, just your average gaming, how long can you game on this scenario? We're gonna actually show you guys every test and the results we got. Okay, so let's start out with charging it from 0 to 100%. I used the turbocharger and I set the screen to 100%. I wanted to show how fast it would charge with normal usage, right? There's plenty of times where I found that I wanted to use my phone while charging it. And so if you were in the middle of the day and the phone had to use 100% brightness, this is how long it would take, right? So I found an hour and 20 minutes was roundabout how long it took. Motorola's turbo charging technology works just fine. In fact, it's fantastic, especially with the screen at 100%. We were at 12, 15, 30% battery life within the first 10 minutes of charging it. So their claims to bring you plenty of juice on just a quick, small, cat nap type charging, perfectly suitable. If you're worried about how long it's going to take the phone to charge in between sessions, you shouldn't have to worry about that at all. Within an hour and a half, you'll have 100% charge. So there's no issues there whatsoever. Our first real test for draining the battery, right? I used a program called Yebis Joule, and it is it's an OpenGL demo. This test here ran with full brightness, but no data, no Wi-Fi, no Bluetooth. Because if you were gaming harsh, you could turn all of that off, no problem. You may not be able to control how bright it is outside, but you could definitely control whether or not you wanted to be connected to the internet. Overall, we saw this last about 186 minutes. So, at 100% brightness with no data or Bluetooth, was able to last under these super harsh conditions. Remember, this is as intense graphics as we could possibly find, as I could possibly find on this phone running nonstop, right? 3 hours, 6 minutes of screen on time, of 100% brightness, and of sheer CPU and GPU raw performance nonstop. Okay, so let's move on to the test that I was really excited about, the average gaming test. How long could I play a video game on my phone before the battery died out? So we left the sound all the way up because most people would want to hear sound for the game they're playing, right? We also had the brightness turned all the way up to give it as many harsh conditions as we possibly can. So I used a game called Heroes of Incredible Tales. I set this phone up and I had it run at not only 100% brightness and 100% sound, but I turned the Wi-Fi off so it was using radio because I've always thought that the radio, for whatever reason or another, used more power and consumed more power than Wi-Fi module did. So we were able to keep this going for 5 hours, 37 minutes. So if you were to sit down and play the average game at 100% brightness, 100% sound, and you're connected to the internet all while doing this, you can expect to be able to play this for about 5 hours. You're gonna have plenty of time. And this falls right in line with kind of what we saw with some of the other views like on The Verge and stuff where they had a screen on time of about 4.5 to 5 hours. But this seems a little further because the screen's on the whole time. In fact, we're at 100% brightness, we're at 100% sound, and we now have headphones plugged in, which means we're running off of the one speaker. Let's talk about the final test that I did. I put it on YouTube at 100% brightness, 100% sound, and we used the radio yet again to connect to the internet. What I did was I put it down and I left it go and I just streamed YouTube for as long as I possibly could. Now, over the course of the day, we had text messages, we had phone calls, we had stuff like that come through. And of course they were all ignored. We didn't respond to anything, but we did get an accurate depiction of how long you could sit and watch video content on your device. Now we're streaming. We're not just watching something that's in the internal storage and we're just loading up. No, we're watching YouTube content and we're streaming it in real time, right? I was able to do this for 7 hours and 13 minutes, 100% brightness, 100% sound, and we were using data over the radio and not Wi-Fi. Okay, so let's recap. We did a charge from 0 to 100%. Took us about an hour and a half-ish, right? On average, whenever I use the turbocharger, I get about the same result. We looked at sheer performance and how long the phone can last under incredibly difficult and unrealistic conditions. And we found at about 3 hours, right? 100% screen brightness with non-stop CPU, GPU usage, or as much as we could get in an automated fashion. We did the Heroes of Incredible Tales test, and I ran that game for 5 hours, 37 minutes, right? On autoplay until it finally died. And remember, all these tests are from 100% to 0%. Finally, we did the YouTube streaming test, and we see how long we could stream YouTube content over the radio, not over Wi-Fi, with 100% screen brightness and 100% sound, all turned all the way up, and we were able to pull 7 hours and 13 minutes. So does that mean that this phone has incredible battery life? Well, yes and no. The battery's completely capable of holding out through an entire day for sure. And if you want to do something particular like watch YouTube or play games, the battery will hold out. But there's issues that I've found. The power draw for Bluetooth is exceptionally high for some reason. When I look at like the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, it has a power draw after, just an hour of gym time, it maybe uses like 3% with a power draw of 136 milliamp an hour. But then when I look at the Motorola Z2 Force, I find that it has computed power usage well above 200 for the same amount of time that, I found on the Galaxy S8 Plus. Does this phone have the capability to hold ground with other flagship devices? Yes. Is it going to be a marathon runner? Absolutely not. This is not a device that you're going to go and pick up. If you're worried about your battery usage, this is probably not the device for you, unless you want to go pick up a Moto mod that you can fast charge the device all the way back up or extend the battery life for. But if you are somebody that has access to an outlet and you have no problem charging your phone up, in the middle of the day, this is not a bad device, and it goes more than well enough for anybody in that type of life situation. So overall, these are the results that I found for the battery test. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, please leave them in the comments down below. And if you have any other ideas for how you want to see the next phone and its battery life, please just also leave those comments in the section below and we'll get to it. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I'm coming out with content every week, as always. And if you've already subscribed, I really appreciate it. So I really appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next one.